Hello everyone, odedex here, welcome to another video tutorial. This time around I'm going to show you how you can mobilize your very own aura nodes to wherever you want, whenever you want it, and pretty much at no cost once it's set up. So as you can see, you can look at this very scary looking machine, and let me actually show you first how it works, and then I'm going to show you, then I'm going to explain to you what's going on here. So as you can see, I have this entire frame contraption connected to this entire frame contraption, and right now this frame motor is going to go over toward this direction. Right here I have an aura node that's captured by this contraption that I have here, and when I move the frame motor, the entire thing moves and the aura node gets relocated to the center of the contraption again, although a little bit slowly, but it does get relocated again. And I can move it once again and it will get relocated. So basically this gives you a mobile aura node wherever you want. So let me explain what's going on here. Thaumcraft adds an option, basically the most end game option available for Thaumcraft is moving auras around. With the special setup looking like this, 8 obsidian totems in a very specific setup, with the crystal core at the center of the top, will attract a Vis aura to it. However, when there are 2 of them nearby, the Vis aura will be in the center of both nodes. Basically both of them attracting at the same strength, so it will be right at the center. And when the entire thing moves, it moves along with it. Now something to keep in mind. This setup, the aura manipulation setup, will stop working the moment the aura node reaches the crystal. So this trick can only work when you have 2 of those guys, 2 of those aura nodes working together, or you can actually create a setup larger than this, giving it a larger area to work with. But the reason why you have to get 2 of them and not just 1 is because if you move the thing to the side, and let's say just go to this side, let's get some energy quickly in here and turn it on. You will see what's going to happen is actually the aura node will update. Notice that it reached one of the crystal cores, and this crystal core will shut down as follows. This one just shut down, and any second now it will reach actually this core and actually shut down this one as well. So you have to keep this in mind, that if you're gonna use this setup, you're gonna have to move it either forward or backwards. And you're also going to do it quite slowly, because if you move it too fast, it might go out of range. So let's show you how you can actually build this thing. Alright, so I have my second aura node here. Let's say I want to move this aura node, start moving it toward this way. Now, of course, you can move it toward whatever direction you want, but if I'm going to move it toward this way, it's going to need to be built in a specific way. So first, let's set up our basic frame. And I'm going to elevate it slightly above the ground, above the trees, so I can very easily move it. I'm going to set up the actual base of this thing, which is a 3x5 frame area. You can break this, it's no longer necessary. On this area, I'm going to set up my obsidian totems. Now, obsidian totems are something you find around the world. They random generate, and they're related to Thaumcraft, obviously. If you don't have Thaumcraft, the entire tutorial is pretty much useless for you. So set it up like so, again a second layer, and then just add a temporary 2 of those guys to actually set up the actual crystals, the crystal cores. They're an extremely expensive item you can make late game with Thaumcraft. And then just to make sure that everything touches the frame. Now, remember that the entire setup must look in a specific way. Every one of those crystal cores have to be built in a specific way, where you have a 3x3x3 area, where in the first layer the cross in the center is empty and the corners have the obsidian totem. The second layer also have an empty cross of blocks and the corners have the obsidian totems. And then the third layer, everything is empty except for the center crystal core. So make sure and notice that I'm also following that pattern. I keep those blocks all empty, and just the blocks, and in order to actually catch the cores themselves, I catch them from the top block layer, leaving everything else in the middle empty. And now with a simple touch of the wand of the thaumaturge, turn them both on, they will do their shiny animation thingy and start pulling on this node. In the meantime, I can actually set up my movement system. So have my frame looking like so, facing down, go towards this direction, get a nice battery box going, fill it up with some batteries of course, and get a lever going so I can start moving this. Obviously, if you're gonna have a setup like this where you actually want to move the node towards larger directions, like longer paths, you may, this kind of setup with a frame might not work for you, and you might want some sort of an inchworm design. So there you have it. So those two are now tagging on it, and they're pulling it slowly, but I can actually start moving this thing, and the machine, both crystal cores still operate, still tagging on it, and it's still working. Now, why you may even want something like this? Now, these auras have a very specific role in Thaumcraft, but for example, giving you one example, if you want to run an arcane bore, you must have aura node nearby. So setting up a frame setup using an arcane bore, and also those two guys tagging an vis node together with it, basically makes you completely invincible, because it will always have enough vis, and it will always have this source nearby. Also, as you may have seen in my original setup, you can very easily add some panels to your, using panels here, to your setup, and also add the normal crystal clusters that will generate this in the area slowly. Again, a very simple but handy solution to generating more vis with this entire setup. So there you have it. If you guys enjoyed the tutorial, please let me know in the comments below, like the video, and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching, and see you guys next time.